There's been a lot of buzz and excitement about collaborative inquiry as a platform for professional learning. What's all the excitement about? Well, I thought I'd ask. I asked approximately 50 teachers across Simcoe County District School Board who were involved in the Student Work-Study Initiative the following question: why collaborative inquiry? What's in it for you? What's in it for your students? From the many responses that I received, several themes emerged. 1. The value in partnerships and co-learning. 2. Ownership and relevance in our professional learning. And 3. Becoming more reflective and co-reflective in our day-to-day practice. Let's take a look at partnerships. One teacher describes her collaborative inquiry experience by saying, "It wasn't the tools that moved my students and I, it was the people." Another teacher describes respect, trust, and time as the key ingredients that help create a positive inquiry process. Respect for the knowledge that each member brings to the group, trust that all members are in this together, and time to think, reflect, plan, to try things out, think, reflect, and so on. One DCE describes how important forming partnerships with not only other educators, but with her students, as well as her administration, enabled the learning to go as far as it did. She explains, "When I see the principal as a learner alongside us, the pressure was lifted to not have to perform. We were all curious in the room, and together, trying new strategies felt safe." The second theme that teachers addressed is the importance of owning their professional learning and making it relevant to themselves, their students, and their school. As one teacher describes, "Because we intentionally and carefully observed marker students in my class, identifying their strengths and needs, trying to figure out where they need to go next, I was motivated to learn, and my practice changed." The teacher continued by explaining, "I've changed the way I think, not just the way I teach." Owning and directing the learning is what several teachers identify as the most important part of their collaborative inquiry experience. One teacher says, "At the beginning, you think you have a set focus on what you want to learn and try based on your students, but through the inquiry process, it becomes much more. The knowledge and learning went far beyond what we had originally ever thought it would." And it's not just teacher ownership of learning that's an essential part of a collaborative inquiry. Many teachers illustrate the growth and confidence sparked in their students through involvement in the process. One teacher explains how it wasn't only the educators that became the researchers in the class, but the students were just as much a part. He says, "As I moved forward, so too did my students. No longer was I the focus in the room. My students and I have moved from learning to being learners, where there's now a thirst for understanding and knowledge in the room." So moving into the final theme that emerged from the question, why collaborative inquiry? Many teachers emphasized the main component that kept their inquiries rich was being reflective. More importantly, becoming co-reflective. As one teacher explains, "Being part of a collaborative inquiry helped me to see my students in a new perspective, one that I could never have been able to see alone." And another teacher says, "After the initial observations, I was surprised by what was shared in documentation about the students that I thought I knew. The one that I thought was a creative mess was actually a very frustrated perfectionist. And the other, who I thought was an unmotivated boy, was actually a creative thinker who lacked confidence in his own ability." Another teacher explains the power of co-reflection by saying, "To be able to discuss certain events with someone else who was there to witness them with you is so helpful in encouraging deeper reflection." This was also shared by a teacher. "By blending our different perspectives and by reflecting together as a team, we were able to discover new questions, new ideas, and new ways to really engage our students. In closing, I'd like to share a couple of the analogies that teachers made about professional collaborative inquiries. Collaborative inquiry is like building a house with your choice of materials and contractors and the time to design the most effective building for your specific family. Collaborative inquiry is like paddling a canoe. At first, it's uncomfortable and you feel nervous that you might tip over and fall in. But after you give it a few tries, learn some of the strokes, it starts to feel more natural. It gets easier. And it makes you want to even try some more challenging water. There may be some portages or branches in the river that lead you in the wrong direction, but you work at it until you find your way. Besides, when you're on a canoe trip, it's the adventure and not the final destination that keeps you going, wanting to explore on a quest for more. So, when I asked approximately 50 teachers from across Simcoe County District School Board who had participated in collaborative inquiries through the Student Work Study Initiative, why collaborative inquiry? One teacher simply responded, "Why not?"